I'd like to call this general session of York School District 1 Board of Trustees meeting to order. Could have our invocation by Pastor Mike Goodwin, Hickory Grove Church of God.
Thank you all so very, very much for allowing me this opportunity. Truly, you're doing God's work. And I can remember looking back as a child, I loved all of my teachers. Each one of them had an impact upon my life. And I thought I never knew that the principals and the folks that were in the executive parts of the school really dealt with all the things they do. I truly don't envy some of the challenges you face. I don't know of another group that could have weathered the pandemic and those very challenging times like you all did. And I'm grateful for it. So if I can mention one small scripture, Psalm 16:11, you'll show us the pathway of life. And so with that note, I'd like to pray. Gracious Father, we're so grateful for this time that we might join together, Lord, in this community, school community, Lord. I ask that you would give, Lord, your presence, Lord, and your wisdom. Lord, as these who've given themselves and their hearts and really their lives, God, to mold and shape, God, our future generations, to oversee our children, Lord, Lord, really to make preparation for life, God, and all its wonderful benefits. I just ask, Lord, that you would allow us, Lord, as your people, to always be kind, respectful, Lord, appreciate each other's many talents, and just go with us and do for us, Lord, what only you can. It's in that precious name we pray. Everybody said amen. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pastor Goodwin. If you'd now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I missed one. I'd like to state that we have a quorum present with 4 members present with Ms. Johnson, Ms. Faulkner, Mr. McSwain, Mr. Childers. Superintendent Cox is here. Do we want to state confirmation of media? Do we have any members of the media present tonight? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Move to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved for adoption.
Motion by Ms. Johnson for adoption. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Faulkner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Now move to recognitions by Ms. Lisa Spangler, and Ms. Faulkner will assist with recognitions.
I'd like to ask Ms. Becky Funberg, who's Coordinator of Instructional Technology Integration, to come forward. And Tim Cooper. In keeping with our district's strategic goal to create quality opportunities for ongoing learning for students and staff in order to promote innovative and flexibility, and several of our district beliefs, we are excited to recognize 28 teachers who participated in the second student-centered learning cohort. These teachers completed 18 hours of work in a variety of online and in-person activities and meetings, received personalized coaching from our instructional technology specialists and coordinators, and tested out new ideas in their classrooms last spring. They receive digital badges at the completion of the coursework, and the cohort will continue to receive support through goal setting on student-centered learning practices. I apologize. Thank you to these dedicated teachers for their work in our district's student-centered learning cohort and their commitment to continuous learning. And teachers, if you're here, please come forward. Amanda Heckert from Jefferson Elementary. Donna Elliott from Jefferson Elementary. Christina Gary from Jefferson Elementary. Jessica Cawthon from Cottonwood Elementary. Erica Johnson from Cottonwood Elementary. Ashley Gordon from Hoover Grove Sharon Elementary. Haley Pence from Hoover Grove Sharon Elementary. Kayla Ledford from Hoover Grove Sharon Elementary. Melanie Westmoreland from Hunter Street Elementary. Joey Coster from Hunter Street Elementary. Jenny Root from Hunter Street Elementary. Angela Constantine from Hunter Street Elementary. Hannah Fairfax from Hunter Street Elementary. Anita Harvey from York Comprehensive High School. Randy Ramsey from York Comprehensive High School. Lisa Beck from York Intermediate School. Beth Bridges from York Intermediate School. Kelsey Hensel from York Intermediate School. Holly Sierra from York Intermediate School. Megan Smith from York Intermediate School. Stacy Davis from York Middle School.
You can tell they've spent a lot of time together.
Mary Hughes from York Middle School. Mary Hughes from York Middle School. Robin Madden from York Middle School. Jennifer Sexton from York Middle School. Adrian Berry from York One Academy. And Susan Rodriguez from York One Academy. Let's give this great looking group of teachers a hand. To come forward. Congratulations to Ms. Amy Hagner and her staff for receiving the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting given by the U.S. Government Finance Association for its comprehensive annual financial report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by our government and its management. This is the 21st consecutive year that the district has received this award.
And it is a team effort.
Led by the best, I would say.
Surrounded by the best.
Thank you, Ms. Spangler, to all the teachers. Congratulations on that. I know the efforts and really community effort shows. I know Ms. Cox was stating, you know, y'all hanging around each other, but some of that shows as well, which I think is very important in our district. So thank you. And to Ms. Hagner, I said often, bar's high, so just keep doing what you're doing with you and your staff. So greatly appreciate it. We'll now move on to reports. And that would be by Ms. Jennifer Boland, Director of Human Resources.
Good evening, fellow board members. I would just want to say thank you first to our instructional staff. We had a wonderful new employee orientation, and they did a wonderful job of most of the planning with that, because Ms. Boland was a month in when I found out that we needed to do a new employee orientation. But they did a phenomenal job of helping me get that started, and they did a great job of presentations on the second day and some of the first day also. I want to say thank you to our operations department too, because they all came in and met our new employees and talked to them about their positions and the things that happened in their different departments. Also, Charlie, I'm going to call him out, he gave out his cell phone number to all those new employees. So they have Charlie's personal cell phone number, or their district cell phone number, in case something is going on in their rooms. And that was pretty brave of him. I'm very proud of him for doing that. But it was just a great event. So we have a couple of pictures that we wanted to kind of share of our event and some of the fun that we had and of the welcoming that they got from us here to our district. And I will say we've had a lot of feedback on how supported that they felt in those 3 days and how much they enjoyed the time that we had with them and everything. So just to share a few things, we had a book that was compiled of everything, our presentations over the whole 3 days that we had them there. Not all of them had to attend all 3 days. The first day was for all employees. The second day was more for our instructional, our certified staff, talking about instruction mostly. And the third day was those that are first-year teachers and out-of-state, talking about their evaluation that they will be taking place. And Dr. Disson talking a little bit more about, you know, their time together that they will spend together throughout the year. But that's the kind of our little welcoming picture there. We had the cheerleaders from the high school. We had our cougar. We had some of our beauty queens, too, from our pageant from the high school that was there to greet our new employees as they were coming in. And they really enjoyed the music pumping, the excitement in the air of them coming through. That is almost like going through, you know, going out on a football field at a football game. And then Ms. Cox there giving high fives to some of our employees coming down, and just the energy in the room was just contagious. I think everyone felt very welcomed and excited about a new school year and being with York School District 1. This is just a couple of snapshots of some of the things that we had. One thing that they had to do was just a fun, like, get to know you kind of little game, but it was almost like rock, paper, scissors, but they had to compete with each other, and came down to 2 people that were competing against each other, and I'm pretty sure Gary Ford won, our new person at York One, our new coordinator at York One Academy. So if you ever want to know how to play that game, he will definitely be able to teach you. A couple other snapshots of just our people working together in teams and getting to know each other, and just learning a little bit more about our district, about our learning communities, and just going towards those goals that we have as a district and sharing that with them. So a lot of time of just celebrating the things that we're doing and talking to them and orienting them around the things that we do in York. And then of course our cougar came, so we had to have some, you know, shots with the cougar in front of our little backdrop for everyone to get that spirit and kind of see our cougar spirit show. I know I provided you with a list of all the new employees. There's several there, and there's a couple that are on tonight that may not be on your list that we had added at the very last minute trying to get our positions filled. I'm glad to say that we have somebody or some kind of form of instruction in every classroom. So I'm very happy about that. We have very little openings that are still there. If we do, it's mostly those positions that are hard to find, like bus drivers. We're still looking for bus drivers. And then we have a couple of youth service positions that are still open that we're looking for, but I have some candidates that are in the mix. And then we have a couple of candidates that are sitting out there that we're waiting on some certification things to fill. So got a lot of things happening. So very proud to see that number keep creeping down, and makes me happy every time I pull up the website and can see it's still on one page and it's getting smaller and smaller. So it makes me feel better. But any questions about any of the new employee orientation event or anything about any of the new employees or any questions around that?
Anybody have any questions, comments?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ms. Baldwin, and in your short time, I know it's a lot of effort in a short period of time for you and getting used to this, so we just greatly appreciate it from the board.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll now have for a summer programs update, Ms. April Ulmer, Director of Elementary and Gifted Programs.
Good evening, Chairman Childers, members of the board, and Superintendent Cox. I'm delighted to be able to come before you tonight to share with you some highlights from our summer programming. Right. And at this time, I'm going to pass over the elementary portion of this to our summer program coordinator, Mr. Clay Bryant. He's going to give you an update on all things elementary, and then I'll come back and talk secondary.
Good evening. My name is Clay Bryant. I'm one of the school psychologists with the York School District, and I was given the opportunity to be the coordinator for elementary programs. I'm very thankful of that. So thank you to the board for that. So this year we had a number of different camps. For our younger preschool and kindergarten students, we had Camp Jumpstart, and for that camp we had 4 teachers as well as 4 assistants. We had Summer Success Camp, which is a program set up for our 2nd grade students, and we had 2 teachers and 1 assistant. And then we had Camp Soul, which is for our multilingual learners, and it was kindergarten through 4th grade. We had 2 teachers and 2 assistants for that. And then lastly, we had our 3rd grade summer reading camp. We had 3 teachers with that, so that was totaling 25 teachers altogether. This year for our summer camps, we had about around 80% of students show up each week. And for our summer reading camp students, they're required to take the math assessment. They take it 3 times during the school year, and then they took it over the summer, and we saw 52% growth with that among our 3rd grade students. So throughout the camps we connected, and I'm going to go through a few slides of different pictures and different organizations and staff members that we connected with. So first off, I want to say we connected with our teachers. So on the left here we have Ms. Fitzke, who is now a 2nd-year teacher at Cotton Belt with her class of kindergarten and preschool students. And then on the right we have Mr. Newman, who is one of our multilingual teachers. And this year he did a book fair for all of our students. He donated over 1,000 books, so our students were able to come, and he called it their home library, so he was able to give out books to all of our students. We also connected with our student athletes. So this year we had our varsity cheerleaders as well as our volleyball players come and connect with our students. They read different stories to the younger ones. They worked with our kindergarten preschool students as well as our summer success program with our 2nd graders. So I think it was nice for our high school students to be able to interact with the different students, and they got to answer some fun questions that I don't think they were ready for. We also connected with learning. In all of our programs, our teachers worked with reading, writing, math, the STEMs, the arts. So they were able to gain all of that exposure and participation with that throughout the summer. We also connected with our community partners. So our summer reading camp for our 3rd graders, in the afternoons they were able to take different field trips and be exposed to different activities. So we had the Boy Scouts come where they did bottle rockets on our playground. They also made a first aid kit. The FCA came and did sports camps with all of our students, and they played basketball, volleyball, and soccer. We also took field trips to Black's Peaches, Bush and Vine, Cotton Hill Farms, where they were given different treats from ice cream to strawberries to take home. We went to the Draper Wildlife, the Metrolina Greenhouse, and then the York County Museum. So for those students, they gained exposure to those different types of things, and many of them had never been before. So throughout our camp, I feel confident that we were able to reach all of these students from kindergarten up to 4th grade. We focused on their reading, writing, and math. We also focused on their social emotional learning. Our teachers for the Summer Success Camp focused on that, and they did a superhero themed camp, which they've also done in the past, where they really focused on character building and just those different life skills. We worked on physical activities and sensory activities, and we also gained social skills development. For some of those preschoolers that have never been in a school building, they were able to learn how to interact with peers and play at different house centers and learn how to walk in lines. So lastly, to kind of close up, we focus on academics, but we also had a lot of fun. For our summer reading students, they were able to go on those field trips. Mr. Carper worked with our multilingual learners, and they went to multiple museums. They also went to the bowling alley. And for a lot of those students, they've never had those opportunities or chances to see those. So it was great for them to be able to experience that. From there, I'm going to pass it back over to Ms. Palmer to do the secretary.
Going too fast, there we go. All right, so on top of all those programs that we had at the elementary level, we also had a partnership with Writability, which is a therapeutic writing center out of Clover for our special needs students. And so we had 10 of our district students that were able to participate in that program with Writability in partnership with Lisa Spangler. So thank you for putting that together wherever you might be. Shout out to you on that one. Then secondary, we had 5th through 8th grade students housed at York Intermediate School, and there those students focused on credit recovery, the class, the core subjects, ELA, math, science, and social studies. And then at the high school, we have other programs occurring over there. So we had a summer bridge program at the high school. That's for identified 8th graders going into 9th graders to help bridge from middle school to high school. I had 7 students participate in that. And then we have attendance recovery and we have credit recovery at the high school. So we had 185 students who participated in attendance recovery or credit recovery. Of those 185 students, we had 307 FAs that were recovered from attendance recovery, so that they didn't have a failing because of absences. And then we had 91 total credits recovered in credit recovery class. I failed to mention we had 113 students at the intermediate school. So I'm going to pause here and say thank you to Harold C. Johnson for opening up their campus for us to be able to have all of our elementary programs there. Thank you to Mr. McSwain for opening up the intermediate school for 5th through 8th grade. And shout out to the high school for allowing all of those students to go over there for summer programming as well. We couldn't do this if it wasn't for principal and leadership support, custodial support for cleaning that. You know that these programs pushed us to the last week for them to be able to go clean those buildings. So thank you all for opening your buildings to us to be able to have our students participate. And then thank you to the board for allowing us to be able to do this and saying yes to our request. Do you have any questions for us?
Any questions or comments?
No? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Almer. Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Now I'll turn it over to the Assistant Superintendent for Academic Innovation and Professional Learning, PIO, Dr. Latoya Dixon. I had to throw the PIO in there too.
It's her favorite portion.
A lot of jobs, a lot of jobs.
I have 2 slides, but a lot of words, and I hope that it will all come together for you. But it's my pleasure this evening, Chairman Childers, Superintendent Cox, and members of the board, to talk with you about the professional development efforts for this school year. As a school district that strives to become a learning organization, we recognize the importance of expanding the capacity of all stakeholders. And we do that by nurturing innovative thinking and demonstrating a commitment to continuous learning as a collective body. We use our 3 bold goals that you see there on the screen from our strategic change agenda to align the professional development work that we design to support staff in making those goals come to life each day in their work with students and colleagues. This evening, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what our professional development plans are for this year, 2023-24. I'm first proud to bring your attention to the various delivery methods that you see alongside the left hand of the screen, in person, virtual, and self-paced. Further, our teachers will have the opportunity to not only participate in professional development, but to earn renewal credits that go toward the renewal of their teaching certificates, and as a new perk, a micro-credential in either Canvas or Mastery Connect. For those of you who aren't clear or unsure about what micro-credentials are, in business, think of them similar to those folks who focus on supply chain management and earn a certification in CPIM, like Production and Inventory Management, or Human Resources, SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management certification. Micro-credentials are the education version of that. You'll notice that in each professional development activity that's written in white font with a black background, it's aligned to a specific goal within the strategic change agenda. We believe that in doing so in such explicit fashion, we're able to ensure that our work is focused with teachers. You might also notice, if you look closely, that there are words written inside the symbolic swirly man that's used in branding for our district. Those words highlight the domains of our comprehensive teaching and learning framework, and those domains are environment, instructional practices, leveraging instructional tools, assessment and reflective practices, and collaborative practices. Our school administrators work diligently over the summer to develop and align their goals to one or more of these student-centered learning domains. Essentially, they are best practices for good teaching and foundational to effective learning. They'll be working with their staff this year to facilitate in-depth understanding of what these practices look like through the teacher's lens as well as through the student's lens. For the past few years, Canvas has served as our learning management system, and while in previous years it has been primarily used as a repository for student work and instructional assignments and information for students and parents, this year we're going to offer professional development that will support teachers in organizing course content and designing engaging learning experiences that support the end user and lead to effective outcomes. We'll help teachers think about the design of how instructional information is presented, arranged, shared, and communicated. Exact Path, another tool that we use to help us identify where students are in their understanding of mathematical and reading concepts, will also be one of the many professional development experiences that we offer to teachers. We believe that our teachers are cognitive scientists who should be on the continuous search for the best methodology to ensure student learning occurs. This means they must be well versed in designing rigorous assessments, reviewing student data, and examining student performance beyond a final score. They have to know where misconceptions and thinking exist, where students might already have mastered a concept, but more importantly, be adept in using that information to then design an instructional learning experience that meets the needs of each student. Mastery Connect is a tool that will help us do that and will support teachers as well. We're also very proud to begin phase 1 of our competency-based education waiver. And as a reminder, we're very proud that we're one of 2 districts in the entire state who has received this endorsement from the State Board of Education. To start that work, we'll be implementing some practices at the Floyd D. Johnson Technology Center and using it to give our students an even more hands-on real-world experience and apply their knowledge of CTE coursework in a professional setting. So students might have the opportunity to work alongside a CTE professional, demonstrate proficiency outside of a paper-pencil traditional assessment. And that way, we'll know that students have both the knowledge and the ability to apply the skills they've learned to be successful and are in fact ready after high school. As Ms. Alyssa Cox, Director of Secondary Education, and Dr. Lee Green and his staff continue to embark on that work and flesh it out, we'll continue to provide you with further details. We're going to continue our professional development efforts with student-centered learning. In addition to the teachers who are recognized here tonight, I'm proud to share with you that we have 43 teachers from both the elementary and secondary level who have chosen to embark on the student-centered learning professional coursework this school year. They'll be working closely with our instructional team. And those that have been recognized this evening will also continue to receive coaching support. We're expanding teacher leadership through a new program we're calling Student-Centered Learning Fellows. This year, the Student-Centered Learning Fellows program is a new opportunity, and these teachers have not only received intensive coaching related to student-centered learning, but they've also completed the coursework. They'll have the opportunity to serve as lab classroom hosts, providing a place for other teachers to learn strategies right in the classroom of a colleague. As a start to this program, we have 10 teachers across the district at various levels who will serve in this capacity. One of the things I know from adult learning theory is that professional development must be provided to teachers in an approach that is relevant to the work they do every day. They have to be able to take something away and apply it in their classroom. It has to focus on professional growth and development. And I'm proud to tell you that our York School District 1 Teacher Forum is going to host a connected conference on October 9th. This is a conference by our teachers for our teachers. There'll be a variety of professional learning sessions led by teachers across the district, allowing them to learn from one another. I'm excited about how this day is going to unfold, and I want to publicly thank Teacher Forum for their commitment and dedication and hard work in putting this together for their colleagues. At the start of the school year, Superintendent Cox spoke to us at convocation about being legacy builders. And I believe that aligns well with our third goal, to build leadership capacity at every level of the organization. We pour into our colleagues and our students. We create leaders for the future, a reliable and dependable legacy who can continue carrying the torch long after each of us are gone. I'm excited about the professional development opportunities we're going to offer to assistant principals. We call it YLE, which will support them in providing quality feedback to teachers to affirm their practices. Now, I might be odd in this, but I really believe that excellent teachers want more than a sticky note with a smiley face when you come to their classroom. A players want us to recognize them for their use of instructional practices. They want to be acknowledged for their hard work in lesson design. They want to be affirmed for their strengths. And mostly, they want to grow as professionals. We're going to focus on providing PD opportunities that not only help our teachers in their own learning and leadership, but help our students in becoming leaders. So we're going to have a goal-setting professional development opportunity where we work with teachers in helping students establish goals, create action steps for reaching them, monitor their personal progress, and persevere to completion, which is an important life skill. Many of our students will have the opportunity to participate in the I Lead John Maxwell program, free of charge through the South Carolina Department of Education. It focuses on helping students develop those characteristics that we know they need to be successful: self-discipline, resilience, courage, perseverance. Our principals will take the lead in providing this training for their staff through a very similar program that some have already begun to embark on, known as Change Your World. It too focuses on developing the leadership capacity of adults, those same sorts of skills that we need to be successful in our lives, like hope, listening, building trusting and caring relationships. We're excited about how both of those programs will align to our third goal in the strategic change agenda. Finally, if you know me, you know I love a good book. This year, Ms. Cox is going to facilitate our professional development as an executive staff and school principals using Liz Wiseman's book, Multipliers, as a focus during our monthly meetings. We're going to dive in each chapter, share our learning, ultimately apply what we learn to our daily work, building our capacity as leaders in this district. Liz Wiseman defines multipliers as people who have a resoundingly positive effect on organizations, getting more done with fewer resources, developing and attracting talent, and cultivating new ideas to drive organizational change. I am excited about the opportunity for us to learn alongside one another and to model continuous and collective learning for our teachers and staff that's required for us to become a learning organization. I'll end my time with you this evening with a quote that I believe has aged quite well in the last 22 years. If you were to talk with any teacher where I've been a principal, they've heard it before. Roland Barthes, in his book, Hand in Hand We All Learn, says ultimately there are two kinds of schools: learning enriched schools and learning impoverished schools. I've yet to see a school where the learning curves of the youngsters are off the chart upward, while the learning curves of the adults are off the chart downward, or a school where the learning curves of the adults were steep upward and those of the students were not. Teachers and students go hand in hand as learners, or they don't go at all. What we know is that real improvement is never the result of complacency. Doing the same thing in the same manner, failing to add to our body of knowledge, or failing to change our habits and practices does not serve us well. I know that from dieting. Whether it be trying to lose weight or learn a new skill, it is our responsibility, our professional responsibility, to engage in professional learning. I believe that teachers are learning. When teachers are learning, so are students. One just does not happen without the other. So by providing professional development, we make those beliefs that we print in our strategic change agenda and on our website and that hang on our walls real. When teachers choose to engage it, we live out our commitment that says we believe that embracing continuous learning is a part of what we are called to do. I want to thank the instruction department in its entirety for their hard work and diligence in developing professional development that meets the needs of all of our staff, no matter where they are, and helps them to lean in and grow. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
May I have any questions or comments of Dr. Dixon?
A few comments, Chairman Childers. Beautiful plan. This takes a lot of work. I do want to say thank you for our book. I glanced at it earlier, and I began to tell Ms. Faulkner that at least this is one that it's written well, and the line is good for you to follow it. But I want to commend everyone who's working with this professional development, because this is a beautiful plan. I studied it, went through it, after I talked about Amy, Ms. Wagner, and I found it to be one that our district truly needs. But thank you for our book, because can we sit in any of your sessions?
Absolutely.
This book seems to have a good pitch to it.
Absolutely, we can certainly
I
arrange
do
that
like
and send you some
good
invites.
books.
Mhm.
So,
Be happy to do that.
congratulations on what you all are doing in development, because if we do not grow, we'll get the same thing that we always got, and it would go nowhere. So
Thank you so much. It's an absolute total team effort.
Any other questions or comments for Dr. Dixon? I guess we have a little bit of advantage because we see this beforehand, but I wanted to throw in, I mean, even like Ms. Homer and Mr. Bryant, you know, from the summer update and what those kids are doing is hands-on. And then you said several times, hands-on, participation, seeing it through the eyes of the teacher, through the eyes of the student. I think that's where it all starts too. And I think for us to see all of this come together is just, I mean, I don't know no other word for it than awesome. So do appreciate everybody's effort, because I know that is a big effort, as Ms. Johnson said, and we followed it. And it's good to see this coming together like it is.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Thank you, Dr. Dixon. Now I'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, Ms. Amy Hagner.
Good evening. Quite a list for you all tonight. So the first is an action item on the issuance of our GO bonds. As As you know, this is to issue up to 8% of our capacity for a resolution not to exceed 3.8 million, and I ask for your approval.
Do I have a motion for approval? As recommended.
So moved for adoption.
Motion by Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Faulkner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next, we have two easements before you tonight. One is easement regarding Johnson Road, some road widening, and I ask for your approval.
Do I have a motion for approval as presented?
Second.
Motion by Mr. McSwain, second by Ms. Johnson. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The second easement is a utility easement, and I ask for your approval, please.
Do I have a motion for approval as presented?
So moved for adoption as presented.
Motion for adoption by Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Faulkner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next is the approval of our 23-24 millage rate. As you know, at this board meeting, we approve, you all have to set our operating and our debt service millage, and so the proposal is for our operating millage to be 222.6 mils, our debt service millage to be 84 mils. For the operating side, that is a 17 mil increase. I just want to remind you that during the budget workshops and during our budget presentations, we are going to recapture 3 years of our rollback millage to come up with that 17 mils. What we'll do is when we report the information to the auditor tomorrow, we'll make sure we spell that out so that our county auditor knows we're recapturing that millage for the last 3 years. And I ask for your approval.
Do I have a motion for approval as recommended? Approval is recommended by Ms. Faulkner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McSwain. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Next action item is second reading of the policies listed before you, and I ask for your approval.
Do I have a motion for approval as recommended for second reading?
So moved for adoption to set second reading for the listed policies.
Motion by Ms. Johnson for recommended approval for the listed policies. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Faulkner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you for all of those. The last, I want to give an update on our agriculture education arena. As you know, it's kind of created a little timeline. In February of 2023, you all approved a resolution to support an ag education arena. During that time, we also were notified that we received $500,000. That was through the South Carolina Department of Ag. That money has been received, and the district does have that money in hand. In May of 2023, our York School District 1 Education Foundation Board unanimously approved a motion to support and partner with the district to fundraise and advocate on behalf of the district on the ag education arena. In August, just this month, of course, in the legislative process, you all know that the state legislators allocated an additional $750,000 to the district, and so I have been in touch with our State Department of Education. We should be receiving information this month on how those funds will be dispersed to us, so more information to come on that. So in total, on hand, towards the ag education arena, we have $1.25 million already on hand. So at this point in time, Charlie Westbrook and I are going to kind of take lead on this project, and we are working on creating a steering committee. And so as a part of that committee, there will be one representative from the School Board of Trustees. There will also be a representative from our Foundation Education Board. We will have a 4-H representative, and the rest of the folks, there'll be a representative from the Technology Center, and the rest of the folks will be from the committee representing either Cattlemen's Association area or equestrian. 10 or 11 committee members. Our plan is to have our first meeting in September, and it's just really a steering committee so that we can get this project underway, and our foundation board members are certainly very eager to start fundraising efforts for the arena. And so as we kind of move throughout the year, we'll continue to give you updates on where we are with the arena. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Does anybody have any questions on the arena? Thank you for the efforts there, and again, we can't thank the foundation enough for what they do. I'm not sure if anybody's here from there, but as always, we appreciate it.
They're very excited to get going on
I'm
this.
sure they are. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now turn it over to Office of Human Resources, Ms. Jennifer Bowling.
Good evening again. I have one action item tonight, and that is certified recommendations for the 2023-2024 school year.
You see the recommendations in front of you. Do I have a motion for, as recommended, for the 2023-24 school year for certified recommendations?
So move for adoption for certified recommendations for the year of 2023-2024.
Have a motion by Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McSwain. If any discussion is needed, we'll need to go into executive session. Is there any need for discussion? No need for discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowles.
Why you didn't say the next motion?
I'll now turn it over to Office of Superintendent, Ms. Kelly Cox.
Thank you, Chairman Childers, board members. It is my pleasure to give you just an update on the school year thus far on day 2. It is exciting to have all that we have to report. First of all, I'd just like to call your attention to this beautiful room that we are all sitting in and thank Mr. Charlie Westbrook and Mr. Chuck Wallace for the work that they have done to make this a larger space so that we can be together and not have the sound issues. There's still a little bit more that will be done. We're not quite finished. You'll have monitors here, boards, so that you can see the presentations. They're not over your shoulders behind you, but we're excited about that. So I want to call your attention to that. I also would like to say, on a somber note, I would ask that everyone please remember Harold C. Johnson, Miss Crystal Sandifer, and the loss of her father, and Miss Hannah Resignio and the loss of her mother. Both of those occurred between Sunday and Monday as we opened the school year. Very difficult loss, and thank you to executive staff who are stepping in at that school and ensuring that operations are continuing smoothly. In following up with Ms. Dixon, Dr. Dixon's presentation about our professional development plan, I cannot thank the principals enough. Principals have done an outstanding job. I'm looking at each of you in your faces right now, Mr. McSwain, Dr. Green, Mr. Tharp, our elementary principals, for embracing the student-centered learning practices and modeling them in your opening faculty meetings. Teachers did not have sit and gets this year. They had choice boards and interactive presentations, and they really truly modeled what we're trying to get the teachers to do. We can't have change if the principals aren't leading it, and they have embraced that, and I want to thank you all for that. I'd also like to mention the Building Legacies. That is our theme for the year. We're building legacies the York way. We're using our text multipliers for our background knowledge. You do have a copy in front of you. I wanted to share that with you. And Ms. Johnson, we will certainly figure out how to invite y'all to some of our group sessions. We have a wonderful time when we are learning together. I think you saw the camaraderie among the teachers as they came together. It really does build that. I'd also like to point out the lanyard that you have at your seat. The lanyards were addressed in our opening convocation. Each teacher received a lanyard, and I've asked them to please wear them proudly and use them as tools when they are describing the York Way. We are adorning them with the pins that we will earn through our different recognition systems and our professional development plan. So if you see a teacher that has their lanyard on and they have a pin, ask them what it's about. Give them an opportunity to tell you how they earned that pin. And then finally, you may be wondering why I am wearing a rubber chicken around my neck, but we had Denise Ryan, the chocolate lady, as our motivational speaker, and she said when there ever is negative energy in the air, give the chicken a squeeze and just dispel that negative energy. I'd like to thank Rebecca Dover for sending me the chicken in the mail, and I am proud to report that I have not had to use it. Now, the office staff will tell you I ran around the hallway squeaking it the first day. It was a lot of fun, and they're trying to steal it now, but we have a good time in what we do. On a more serious note from the chicken, I do have an enrollment update for you. You have 2 documents in your packet. The first is titled Our Student-Teacher Ratio, and it shows you based on Power School, the students that have registered that we are projecting will be coming into our classes. The far column to the right shows you the core ratio in each of those classes. You can see that we are maintaining our elementary core ratio of 1 to 21.5 and our intermediate and above ratio of 1 to 25. The second document that you have is our 10-day count. Those numbers are significantly lower. Please don't let that alarm you. We do a staggered start for our 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. We only have a third at a time coming in for the first couple of days. Our students who enrolled in York Tech don't begin until next week, so they're not in those counts. And we did begin school early, so I'm sure there are those that are still out there that have just decided not to join us yet. So we look forward to them arriving. You can see that our projected enrollment is to be at 5,162. As of today, we had 4,591. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that information if you have any.
Any questions of Superintendent Cox?
No questions, but the chocolate lady, I was not at the invitation, but I did attend her session at the school board conference, and it was a great session.
She was absolutely dynamic. The energy in that room was contagious. And I will tell you, she did go on social media and complimented us and said it was the most spirited convocation she has participated in. And I would like to thank you, board members. We selected her based on your recommendation from the School Board Association Conference.
And I'd like to add, the convocation this year was excellent. Everybody that participated, everybody put together, anybody that had anything to do with that, I think it was 100% participation with whoever was there. I did not dance. They tried to get me to, but I did not do the electric slide. So
He did wear colored feathers.
I did wear colored feathers that were blinking because I was 13. So, but
Oh, I like this day.
no, I said I did not dance. Let's be clear. but it went very well, and it is greatly appreciated from the board that the participation at that, and just the, like I said, excitement in the room, it was real. So thank you to everybody.
May I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
The second item that I have for you is an administrative recommendation. This is one that was brought to you over the summer under my authority to approve positions, and this is for ratification at this point. This is an action item.
Do I have approval as recommended? A motion for approval as recommended?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Johnson. Is there a second? Have a second by Ms. Faulkner. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The next item under my office is regards to seat 5 vacancy, and I believe you're going to speak to that one, Chairman Childress.
So for the seat 5 vacancy that we have currently, you have materials in your packet, and I won't read through all of those, but I will read through the dates. So for those who don't know, and this is not for the board, obviously the board knows, but we do have a seat 5 vacancy that we're looking to fill. Needs to be someone in seat 5, in our district of York School District 1. And the position, timeline, as we have it, it will be posted in certain areas, and media on August 9th, if we approve moving forward. That will be tomorrow. August the 18th, the applications will be due by anyone interested. And on August 22nd, the interviews will begin. If there's need for additional dates for interviews, we will go through that process if needed. Also, the approval of the new board member, if decided at that time, will be on September 12th, at the September meeting. And if anybody needs access from the public standpoint for application, map of seat 5, or geographic map of our district, you can call the district office or get that information internally from the district office. So hopefully folks are listening to this or will listen to this and get the word out for a school vacancy or school board member vacancy. So at that time, I'll ask the board if there's any questions or comments on this item before we go to motion just in general. Do I have a motion on the seat 5 vacancy?
I so move that we approve it as presented and in accordance with our policy.
Motion by Ms. Johnson, as presented and in accordance with York School District 1 board policy. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second by Mr. McSwain. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. So we will move forward with the presenting of material to the media tomorrow. Thank you, Ms. Cox.
Thank you. The final item that I have for you are our upcoming dates. As you see, now that you have approved, we will post the seat 5 opening tomorrow, and then we'll proceed through that process. We'll accept applications through the 18th, at which time they will be due. I would like to remind everyone that this Friday night will be the Bill Pate White Rose football game at YCHS. This is the second annual Bill Pate White scrimmage. It will begin at 6 p.m. We will have a work session on the 22nd for the purpose of interviews. We do have a couple of items for you that we'll present at that meeting, unless there are too many applicants, and then we'll push that off to our next meeting. We have reserved the 29th just as a whole date, August the 29th, in the event there are numerous applicants and it takes more than one night to interview. And then finally, I will point out that on September the 4th, we will have our Labor Day holiday. You do have several more dates continuing through the end of October, just so that they stay on your calendar.
And just a couple of notes. Annual conference for Second Line School Board Association will start on the 25th of August. And I think I'm going, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Revels is also attending.
Is that correct, Ms. Webb?
And we can check on that if needed.
Yeah.
And then also, just noting the regional advocacy meetings. I think a lot of times we get to the regional meetings, we go to Spartanburg, but we can go to Spartanburg or Columbia or any of them. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. You know, you can go to either one of those. Just wanted to note that, just for the board. And that's all I got. Anything else, Ms. Cox?
No, sir. Thank you. I will say that the first 2 days have been successful. Transportation has done a phenomenal job getting students to school and picked up on time, particularly with the challenges that we've had between Power School and Transversal talking to one another. So thank you, Mr. Queen, for making that happen, and principals for just being ready to receive students. I've had an opportunity to visit most of the schools. I'll be hitting the last couple that I haven't made it to tomorrow. But the energy, we had music blaring and bubbles floating through the air, and it was super exciting just welcoming students coming in the door. Thank y'all for your work.
Any other needs of the board at this time? Is there any need for executive session? Hearing no need for executive session, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. McSwain. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.